we have 5 kids, and they range in age from almost 13 to 33. And so we have been very different parents to each of those kids along the way, as just as we learned and overcame habits and unhealthy coping mechanisms and things from our own childhood. And it has and Parents Together has helped me with that so much, just working here, and being so immersed in our content has really, like, literally helped me be a better parent.
Hello and welcome to Power to the Parents. I'm your host, Ailen Arreaza, and today we have a very special episode. We're calling it the Parent Power Up. It's a shorter episode and it's going to feature one of our very own staff members, Robyn Welling. We are going to get a behind the scenes look at the work that we do here at Parents Together. Welcome to the podcast, Robyn.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here.
Okay, Robyn is one of my favorite people. We've worked together for about 6 years, so I'm so excited to have you here. This is just going to be like a fun chit chat that we're going to have. But I'd love for you to introduce yourself to our listeners. How long have you been working at Parents Together? Why did you choose to do this work?
Great. Yeah, sure. The job that I was, well, first, I'm Robyn Welling. I'm the Director of Content here at Parents Together. I've been here for about 6 years. And before this, I worked at a for-profit company that was also my property that I managed was parenting focused, and it was parenting humor, kind of relatable, poking fun at like the tough parts of parenting. And it was really fun, and it felt really supportive for parents because we got a lot of, it's about a 4 million person kind of community. And we got a lot of great feedback about, how people felt seen and, how they could really relate to that content. And after doing that for 5 or 6 years, I felt like there could be something kind of more tangible that I could be doing to support parents. Something, we all need that, like, oh, I see you, I'm not going through that alone support. And, there are policies that could support parents and families. And there are other resources that parents could really use, just to make their parenting better or easier. So I took the leap and loved you all, obviously. And so it felt really great to come to Parents Together to just kind of live more in my values and support a parenting community in kind of a more tangible way.
Love it. Okay, and so you have done and created some incredible things here. One of my favorite things that you've created is a series we have called Scripts for Parents. It is wildly successful. Can you tell me about what the series is and why you decided to create it?
Absolutely. Scripts for Parents is aimed at kind of modeling conversations for parents, whether it's with their child or another parent or a teacher or an employer, that helps them see how they might tackle kind of what might be an uncomfortable conversation or one where they might not quite know exactly the right thing to say. And so I think it's been popular, I think, just because I'm not the only one who needs these scripts. I think it's very touching when people leave comments along the lines of like, oh, I wish I could, talk to my kids. And I would just like to say to everyone out there, I wish I could talk to my kids that way too.
For real.
I am much better about it now, but we have 5 kids, and they range in age from almost 13 to 33. And so we have been very different parents to each of those kids along the way, as just as we learned and, overcame, habits and unhealthy coping mechanisms and things from our own childhood. And it has, and Parents Together has helped me with that so much, just working here, and being so immersed in our content has really, like, literally helped me be a better parent.
Same. And you have helped me be a better parent. Like, I think just being in this workplace, doing this work together has really shown up in my own parenting as well. Yeah, they always say there's no parenting handbook, there's no manual.
It's true.
But these scripts are, I think, the closest thing you can get to something like that. So, um, are some of these based on your own personal experience with your own kids?
Some of them are very much conversations that I've had with my kids. Um, and many of them are kind of opportunities for me to get a redo. That I think the biggest one for me is the period script, where we have a period where, oh, my kid found my tampon. I need to explain, what it is without scaring them. And a lot of times parents don't know what to say in that situation because it has to do with blood and they're not quite sure what, based on their kid's age, what they should say. And my oldest daughter, who's 19 now, I just remember we were getting ready to go on a vacation once. So I had a bunch of stuff spilled out on the floor because I was reorganizing it and packing. And part of that was like a package of tampons. And so she asked what it was. And I was trying to explain to her the best I could and not doing a great job. I was telling her, what pads are like puffy stickers that you put in your underwear. And she's like, okay, I know what stickers are. But we got to the tampon part and she was asking like how you use it. And I was like, well, I mean, you put it in your body. And she, like, her face dropped and her mouth opened and she goes, you eat it? And I was like, no, oh, not that kind of put it in your body. So suffice it to say, like I said, I've gotten a little better over the years. That is not the same way I would give that talk to my youngest daughter, but it definitely, the scripts come, they come from things that I know as a parent that I needed a script for, and then a lot of them come from suggestions and questions from our members who will say, yeah, but what do I say, when XYZ, or what do I say about this topic when they're a teenager, or that kind of thing. So it's very helpful for us to hear what other parents want scripts for as well.
Yeah, I just feel like it's such a tangible and practical tool. And the tampon one has been incredibly popular. And I remember asking my mom about that, and she did not do a great job of explaining it when I was a kid. And now I have sons, and so we talk about it some, but I've been able to use that script as like a very easy way to explain to them, what's going on, what it means, what it is, without, making a big deal out of it. And I don't know, like you feel all this. I think the thing that these scripts do is they help make you feel less nervous. Like watching it
Mhm.
play out on Instagram helps you
Mhm.
feel less nervous about the conversation. Like it's just like whenever you have to have a hard conversation, you usually practice it first. And this is you watching somebody else practice it.
Mhm.
And so it kind of disarms you, and it's like, oh, it's not that hard to talk to kids about this. Another one that has been really popular was one that's how come there's no White History Month, which is something that I've heard. My kids are always like, how come there's no White History Month? I told you I have sons. So like, how come there's no Men's History Month? Or I'm constantly like, girl power. Like I live in a house with 3 men, and they're always like pushing back a little bit because they're, and I have found some of your scripts super helpful to explain that, you know, why we need to lift up marginalized communities. So will you share a little bit about the how come there's no White History Month script?
Yeah, that started as a carousel on Instagram, and it just got a really strong reaction that this is apparently a common thing that folks come up against, and it's one of those things that um, I think with so many things in parenting, it's like you know the answer, you just don't know how to articulate it. Like for me, it's like I know how to like add and subtract, but I'm not a teacher. I cannot like help my kids to do that. Um, so I think it just it's helpful to have that kind of as a template from someone else to just articulate what points you would want to include or how you would phrase like the concept of fair and how it doesn't apply in this situation and why in a way that kids will understand.
Yeah, it's so helpful, and it's just like the examples, the putting it into real practical terms. I know that we get comments, hundreds of comments from people saying, "Oh my gosh, this makes so much sense." I'm using teachers who are saying, "I'm using this in my classroom." Parents who are saying like, "Oh my kid just asked me this, and this is perfect. It's the perfect answer."
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
it is. They are so useful. Okay. Before this is a shorter episode, so we're about to wrap up. But before we wrap up, I wanted to ask you: um, is there a script that you need right now in your own parenting journey?
Um wow. Okay, we're working on one about like skincare and beauty products, which is it's a touchy subject for some people. It's something that a lot of parents are dealing with, and they don't know where the line is between like, should I be supportive or should I be worried? Um, and I definitely I have a need for that script right now with my girls because they are not immune to the trends. Um, so that's probably one that I definitely need right now.
All right, I'm sure there's a lot of parents out there who need it. I imagine we're gonna get comments about that. So, Robyn, get on it. I'm sure it'll be great. Thank you so much for joining us for this special episode. It's so great to talk to you in the podcast studio, not just on Zoom.
Likewise, thank you so much for setting this up.